Jenna, there's been some upheaval with the Bud list. Now, I did think about Mahomes, but he didn't make the cut. But Trevor Lawrence was going to be on the list. In fact, he was going to top the list this week. But the Urban Meyer news, I think, is taking the bullseye and the pressure off of Trevor Lawrence. Now he can play the rest of this season pressure-free and get a fresh start next year. So he's off. So at number 5, I had to go with Josh Allen. You might say, Josh Allen? Didn't he just become the 4th player ever to throw for 300 or more yards and run for 100 or more yards in a single game in the loss to Tampa? Yeah. But like I said, the loss to Tampa. They've lost their last 2. And in the game before Tampa, Josh wasn't that great. You saw it in the loss to New England where he completed about 50% of his passes. So he needs a W, okay? They're 7-6. They're 2 games behind New England in the AFC East, and they're hanging on ever so slightly to that 7th and final playoff spot in the AFC. So they got to win, and Josh has to deliver. He's number 5. At number 4, Jenna, we are going with Kirk Cousins. Yes, Kirk Cousins. His numbers are eye-popping. Top 6 in passer rating, passer yards, and touchdowns. And yet Minnesota's only 6-7. All right, we know how Kirk is on Monday night games and primetime games. He struggles. All right, so he's got to play this Monday night. He's got to deliver against the Chicago Bears. And they have a chance to make the playoffs. They're right there in the mix. And Kirk Cousins playing well would help them get into the playoffs. At number 3, Dak Prescott. You brought him up earlier, Jenna. And yeah, Dak, I know they won last week against Washington, but he played arguably his worst game of the year. 2 interceptions, just 1 touchdown, less than 220 yards, less than 60% completion. And their running game may not return. Tony Pollard, questionable with the plantar fascia. Ezekiel Elliott, the bad knee and just not looking like himself. Dak has to carry them. The question is, can he do it? He's under duress. All right, at number 2, Wilds, I hate to do it, but Mac Jones. All right, you call him Baby Goat, you call him McCorkle.
That's right.
MJ10, whatever you want to call him. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
13 games he started now, Wilds. He's no longer a rookie. You hear that a lot, right? This point in the season, you're not a rookie anymore. All right? And now people are expecting stuff from him. He started the season, it was all gravy because nobody expected anything. Now, they're expected not only to make the playoffs and win the division, but to battle Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl. All right? And now, let's see how Mac plays with the pressure of expectations. Not to mention, Indianapolis's linebackers are calling him out saying, we're going to make him beat us. Let's see what he can do. All right, at number 1, Lamar Jackson. Lamar is becoming a mainstay on this. Now, first of all, we hope he plays. All right, we saw he had the ankle injury last week, but he's day-to-day. Sounds like he's going to be out there against Green Bay, and they need a W. They're hanging on ever so slightly, 1 game ahead of Cleveland and Cincinnati in that tough AFC North, and their schedule is rough the rest of the way. Lamar's got to deliver. He just hasn't played well. These last 7 games, I believe it is, 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Get this, 25 sacks in his last 7 games. And a lot of them are his fault for holding the ball too long. And there's a notion out there, and I've kicked it myself, that Lamar struggles against the blitz. But look at this graphic. He's actually struggled over the last 6 weeks or since week 6 against everything, blitz or not. Yeah. Completion percentage is actually lower when they don't blitz him. 6 touchdowns, 7 picks when they don't blitz him. So Lamar Jackson's got to step up. Let me just remind you, he hadn't signed his long-term contract either. Bad time to be having the worst season of his career, since he became a full-time star.
That's right. That's right. Broussard, listen, I don't give faint or false praise. And I'm here to tell you, this is a great list. You did excellent. I don't know if you had maybe some outside consulting on adding Josh Allen. I don't know where you had that inspiration, but it was a great addition. Mac Jones obviously should be exactly where he is. You can't have him number 1 because he is a rookie, but when he's out here, he doesn't have time to watch Christmas movies, he said, but he does have time to work with his personal branding experts in the trademark offices night and day to get MJ10 and Mac10 and, McCorkle for life, all those types of things. So I think Mac is in the exact right spot after being called out by the Colts defense. I'm going to, though, add, you took a rookie off, you said, in Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to add a rookie. Zach Wilson. Because unlike Trevor Lawrence, where Trevor Lawrence has had one bad year ever this year, Zach Wilson has only had one great year ever, his last year at BYU. His first couple years at BYU, he was not great. He was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. For some reason, the Jets acted like drafting him was as much of a fait accompli as the Jags drafting Trevor Lawrence. And he's dead last in seemingly everything in the NFL this year. He has the worst passer rating. He has the worst completion percentage. He has the second worst yards per attempt. He has 6 touchdowns, 11 picks, a 65 rating. If you care about QBR, which I'm not a big fan of, but some people like, he's dead last in that as well. And he has not even shown the flashes that we've seen from Fields or from Trevor Lawrence. If you make a highlight film of the best throws that Zach Wilson has made in 2021, the second or third one's going to be the thing from his pro day. That stupid throw that seemingly got him drafted number 2 overall. So I think Zach Wilson is under real duress in a way similar to the way Josh Rosen was, which is I don't think it's going to be one and done for him like it was for Rosen, but I think it absolutely could be that this time next year, the Jets are talking about drafting their quarterback again.
Whoa. Well, look, he's in a situation, Nick, where he lives under duress. You're the Jets quarterback, all right? You got nobody to protect you. You got nobody to throw to. You got nobody to hand the ball to. I mean, you're right. I mean, he may actually have potential and could be a good quarterback elsewhere. I know it didn't work out with Sam Darnold in Carolina, but we may never see it just because he's with the Jets, who are an absolute mess. I do agree that generally he's under duress, but I wouldn't put him there this week. They play Miami, who's one of the hottest teams in the league. Nobody's expecting them to beat Miami. And so I just think with all that is working against him, he's okay. Joe Flacco's not their quarterback of the future. Mike White has disappeared. So he's got some time to prove himself, but he's just in a situation that's a mess in New York. So he may not be able to get out of that. Wilds, what you got? I know you don't like Mac.
So before I add my person, let me address Mac Jones. Everyone else on this list, Lamar's struggling, Dak is struggling. What's up with Kirk Cousins? Josh Allen is losing games. You think they win? And maybe the Jets need to find a new quarterback. And Mac Jones, oh my goodness, he's expected to win multiple playoff games and maybe even the Super Bowl. That is not under duress. Or if it is, it's a different type of under duress. And won the game. We're not playing fantasy football, everybody. Log on to Yahoo and play fantasy football with Nick Wright if you want. He's got a big league, and you can talk about the stats. If you want to play winning football, you can log on to kevinwilds.com. I don't even know if that exists. I should probably get that URL. Mac Jones is fine, but I understand why he's on the list. Either way, I'm putting Jonathan Taylor on the list. And again, this is not an indictment. This is an inspiration.
This guy.
No, this is a nice gesture, Nicholas. It is a nice gesture. Here's why. I have been the biggest Jonathan Taylor Go Badgers fan, maybe in the entire Westchester region. So Jonathan Taylor right now is number 1 in yards. He's number 1 in TDs. But is he the best running back in the league? Everyone's like, no, it's not even really close. It's not. It's just because Derrick Henry is out. And now with rumors of Derrick Henry getting healthy enough to come back if the Titans make a little bit of run, I think Jonathan Taylor's window is closing to be the best running back in the league. He's got a chance to have a big game against my Patriots on Saturday night. First Saturday night game. It's like everybody will be watching. So I want to see another big performance from Jonathan Taylor in a losing effort. But I hope he plays well and people can start to have the conversation. Hey, Is he the rightful heir to Derrick Henry's best running back in the league crown?
Yeah, look, that's going to be interesting because, and you got some other good runners out there, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, but they don't have the numbers right now.
No, he's better than
that
those guys.
Taylor has. Yeah. And what's Henry going to look like when he comes back? Not only that he's rusty, that he's right back from injury, but if he comes back. But what about the damage that's been done over the last several years with him getting all these carries? It'll be interesting.
That's
but
right.
I don't hate having Taylor under duress, Wilds, because it's a huge game. They have to beat New England. We know that. This is a team that we all think if they get into the playoffs could be dangerous, and they've got to run it. All right, they've got to run it. Yeah. New England's great against the pass. The run there, middle of the pack, so they're going to have to rely on Taylor. You don't want to put this game in Carson Wentz's hands, as good as he's been this year.
That's right.
So Taylor, 32 carries 2 of the last 3 weeks. We'll see if he can be that workhorse against New England. Wilds, not bad, Wilds. And I'm glad you understood why Mac is on there, because it's inspiration. You remember, don't forget the motivation behind the button.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.